Yes people, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Liam from Good Bloke Outdoors and we are finally taking on Wainwright's Coast to Coast, a long distance trail that I have had on the list for quite a while, and I'm actually setting off tomorrow, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to fully empty my bag and show you exactly what I'll be taking. So I'm going to get straight into it then. The tent of choice is the Bonfuss Duos 2P. This is my go-to tent on anything long distance. They're not cheap, I'll be honest with you, but they are made of this high quality, high strength DCF material. And I'm going to say it, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the strongest lightweight tent material that money can buy. And because these sort of tents don't have poles and they're not freestanding, you do need trekking poles. So I'll be taking 2 of these with me as well. These are by a company called Medkit. Right, let's move straight on to the backpack. The beast, the new beast. So this is the Atom Packs Pulse, and it's actually 50 litre. There's so much extra volume in that top half, which you can just roll down. So on this trip, I've opted to go for a quilt instead of a sleeping bag, mainly just to keep the weight down. And the quilt of choice is the Thermarest Vespa 0 degrees C. So it's got a comfort rating of 5 degrees Celsius and a limit of 0. Now from what I've seen on the forecast, although it is planned to be quite sunny over the next few days, the temperature is dropping still on a night. This field, when I first come round the corner, we're actually frosty this morning, so we're expecting some low temperatures. I'm talking around 2 to 3 degrees at the very lowest. And I will be pairing that with the Thermarest Neo Air X-Lite sleeping pad. I'd say over 95% of my camps I've used that pad. It's reliable and it's comfy and it'll keep me warm. And to pump that up, I've decided against bringing my normal flex tail pump, and I'm just going to go the old Manuel option and just blow it up with the Thermarest pump sack. I was umming and ahhing about taking the electric pump, but I'm not going to bother. I'm not really going to be using it as a tent light, so I might as well just use the manual pump sack. And my pillow of choice is the Trekology Airluft 2.0. The first pillow that I ever bought when wild camping, and it's lasted me, I'm going to say about nearly 3 years since I've done my first wild camp. Sorted, can't go wrong with that. Right, let's move on straight to the clothing. So I'm only taking 1 extra t-shirt.
Brother,
You might be thinking, you stinky boy, but I've got options, don't worry about that. So this is a I think it's called a Nitro ultralight, really lightweight. And then I've got a Senchi Designs Alpha, is this a 60? Alpha 60 hoodie? I'm not sure, to be honest. I know it's an Alpha hoodie by Senchi Designs, and I've got 2 of them. As you can see, I've got one on right now. I've got my rotational boxer shorts. I'm not sure what brand they are. I know they're from Decathlon. Nice and comfy. Never had an issue with them. Let's go on to socks. So I've got my rotational pair of toe sock liners. I always wear 2 pairs of socks whilst hiking, whatever season we're in, whatever the weather. I wear a really thin pair of toe sock liners, and then I wear a slightly thicker pair of wool socks over the top. And the wool socks for me are going to be the Darn Tough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wear a pair, obviously, and then I'm going to have 1 pair that I dedicate as a rotational pair. So say I'll wear the pair that I'm wearing now, tomorrow I'll wear them, vice versa. And then these are going to be my camp socks, so they never get wet, they never go out on trail, and they stay dry, so that I've always got a dry pair of socks. These were a last minute addition. These are my, what are they called now? Sealskin waterproof socks. And the only time I'm going to wear these is if it really does rain and the ground is really boggy, really wet through, and then instead of wearing one of these over one of these, I'll go for one of these instead. So they are a last minute addition, but I think they might pay off. Because as far as I can see on the forecast, it's not looking bad. There's a bit of rain due right at the end of the week, but what I definitely don't want happening is it starts raining, everything gets wet, and then my socks are piss wet through straight away. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's always a good backup plan to have those in the pack. And then I have also got some leggings because I'm not actually taking any pants on this trip. I'm just going to be wearing shorts and then pairing them with these if it gets cold. When I mentioned earlier about this only going down to 5 degrees, and I know it's going to be dropping even lower than that, I'm going to pair it up with a pair of Nature Hike down pants, and that way when it gets cold in the evenings and the temperature drops, I can just chill around camp in these. Obviously with me only having my shorts, it might get a bit nippy, so at least I've got these, I can chill out in them, and then when they're paired up with this, I should be alright for temperature. And that goes with the down jacket. So this is a 4-class, I'm going to say MT 100. It's their lightest, thinnest down jacket. And same as the sleeping bag, I think that's rated to about 5 degrees. So that's perfect for this time of year really. And then them two paired together on a night should keep me warm enough. Now inside this little dry bag, I should have my waterproofs. And I have. So this is my Rab. I wish I'd have come prepared with this. Can't even remember the name of it now. It's something pack light. Let's have a look. See if it says on it. What I'll do is I'll just bosh it up on screen for you. So it's the Rab pack light something or other. And then to go with that, I have got some super light. They are more or less see-through. Might regret bringing them, but I suppose paired with the leggings they'll be fine. So these are by a company called, it says Innovate, but obviously Innovate. So that is Innovate waterproof pants. Not even sure I've tested them properly. Quite worrying, innit? But just have to deal with it, won't I? So they're gonna stay in their own little dry bag, separate from all the rest of my clothes, because these need to be available for a quick deployment. It'd be nice if I don't even have to use them. I have also got some super light bin liner shorts. These literally weigh next to nothing, man. And I just brought them as a rotational pair. You never know, I might rip these. And if I want to go for a little dip somewhere or whatever, then I'll wear these. Saves getting the rest of my kit wet. And I have got just some little Primark flip-flops, whatever they are, I don't know. These cost me £1. Probably the cheapest thing here. Pretty sure I've taken these on the Cumbria way, the West Island way. I've taken them to France when I did Tour de Beaufort. I might have even taken them to Morocco when I did Toubkal, but anyway, they're coming with me, whether I use them or not, but they might be good for just chilling round camp once I take my trainers off. Whilst I'm here, I have just realised I forgot to bring my woolly hat. So here I've got some Rab mitts. I usually take these on a lot of camps, so that folds over. Obviously you know what mitts are, but they should do the job I think just fine. Right, let's move over to water and that. So I'm going to take a 1 litre bottle of water. Whether I set off with it full or not is going to be a different matter. And then I'm going to take my 750ml bottle. And then I've also got my water filter, which is the Katadyn B3. So together I've got the litre, I've got 750ml, and then I've got whatever this holds. I think it's about 600ml or something. So that should be enough for one sort of water carry. I've got my electrolytes, Science in Sport. These are full, cola plus caffeine. And then these, I've got a couple left in them, so I thought I might as well take them. Use these first. So they are berry, and they're very good. I will be using them every day. Not only do they obviously replace all your salts that you lose and all that tackle, but they also add a little bit of flavour to the water. Which brings me on to this. Very expensive for what it is, but once again it's just going to add some flavour to that water. When you're out all week, or longer than a week, you might get a bit sick of the old taste of water. So in this I have just got, I'm pretty sure it's literally just coffees and that. Yeah, that's it, just lattes, couple of hot chocolates, couple of coffees. Don't need to go into that really. And then to make those coffees and all that stuff, I've got my cook kit. So I've got my X mug by Sea to Summit. So that just folds out. I'm sure you've seen that plenty of times on plenty of channels. And I'll be boiling all my water using a Coleman's 240 gram gas canister. That should be more than enough. And then I'll be using my Lixada titanium 550ml boiling pot. So that just goes straight in there. That can go over the top, lid on top. I have got a little bag for this and I've lost it. So I'm currently using my hair bobble that I use to tie my hair up. And I just wrap that around there just to keep it all in place. And that does the job. That's my canteen, as you want to call it. Not got my burner yet though, I'll show you that. This is more or less my Medkit, personal hygiene, all that sort of tackle. I won't go too deep with this, but I don't want to bore you. I've got a little towel, some foot tape, some plasters, toothbrush and toothpaste. I've got this little all-in-one wash by Sea to Summit. I've got my suntan lotion as well. You never know, man, you never know. And then that's about it in there. Got my earbuds as well. So that's that one. And then in this one, I've got two little sponge cloths. One for me, one for the tent. So when I get a bit of condensation on tent or a bit of morning dew, I'll be able to wipe it down and dry it with that. And then I'll be able to dry myself with that or wash myself with that or whatever. One for me, one for the tent. A bit of bog roll. Don't need to take too much because I'm sure I'll be able to get some en route. A little small deodorant to stay fresh whilst on the trail. And then my extra long, super lightweight titanium spork. I'm planning for some nice weather, Mia. I've got my sunnies. These are by Oakley. Don't need to get them out. Just some prescription shades. So in this carrier bag, I've just got a load of munch and a load of food for the first few days. So I've got pot noodles and stuff. I won't go into that. You'll see that on the videos. Same there, I've just got a few of those Wayfarer meals. If you know me, you know I'm not a big fan of dehydrated meals, so apart from the pot noodles, I'm not taking any. Honestly, I can't be dealing with them. They're just not nice, and I'm yet to find any I actually like. I think I like them, I'm eating them like, yeah. But then when I think about it, nah, they taste like crap. Obviously, that's just my opinion. If there's some that you like, put them in the comments, and if I've not tried them, I'm happy to give them a go and be proven wrong. I hope you can't hear that in background or I'll be getting copyrighted, but someone's been blasting tunes while I've been trying to do this video, typically. Anyway, so as well as the Atom Packs Pulse backpack, I'll also be taking the Atom Packs Roo bum bag. So I'll open this and have a quick look inside. So I've just got a couple of snacks, a spare iPhone cable, yeah, just bits and bats really. So in here is the controller for my drone. I've got a little lanyard thing there so I can walk around with it, repping my fresh chain and that. Right, so obviously I keep that in a dry bag because those Atom Pack Roos are not actually waterproof. Even if the state of the war, I'd still put this in a dry bag just to be safe. So that brings me on to my electricals and my filming gear. So in this dry bag, I've got this little bag here, I'll show you that in a minute. I've got a couple of head torches, I've got all my power banks, and then I've just got spare cables, lighters, just bits and bobs like that really. And then this is like my little odds and sods bag. Got more plasters, paracetamols, painkillers, anti-diarrhea tablets. Brother, all that sort of stuff, as well as my stove. So this is my stove, the BRS 3000T, super light. I've also got here, what are these called now? So some water purification tablets, just in case the water source is looking a little bit manky. So that, plus my water filter, the Catadin B3, should hopefully sort me out. I've also got a plug as well, so if I get anywhere that I can recharge, I've got a plug with 4 USB ports on that side. Filming equipment, I've got my GoPro 11, as well as my DJI Action 5, which is what I'm recording with right now. I've got more batteries for this, so I'll probably be using this more. Most of the videos on my channel have been done with this. This has served me well. Really good camera. And then in here, bloody hell, this is most of the waiting kit. I've got all my batteries. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 GoPro batteries in here, plus the one that's in the actual GoPro. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 batteries for the DJI camera, plus the one that's in it now. I've got a battery in the drone, and then a spare battery for the drone. Probably won't even need a spare battery for the drone. And then that brings me on to this. Oh, I'm saying, remember when I said I forgot a woolly hat? I forgot to bring my woolly hat. I've not forgot a woolly hat. Ignore me. I had one in my hand. I've always got a woolly hat, and it's what I've put my drone in, just to protect it a bit. So that's my drone. You know, I smashed my drone up not too long ago. So thank you. Some of you guys actually sent me a bit of the old cashish over, whether that was on Buy Me a Coffee or on PayPal, and that has gone towards a new drone. So it's much appreciated. It's not a very expensive one. I actually got it refurbished from DJI. My thoughts were, I could have bought the latest one, spent 3 times the amount, 4 times the amount even. But then if I smash it, I'm just going to be gutted again, aren't I? Or if I lose it. So I've got one that, it's a bit better than the one that I had last time. This is the DJI Mini 3. I had the 2 last time. The good thing about the 3 is it came with the controller that you don't need to use your phone with. So you've got a screen to look at. If you're into your drones, you'll know what I mean. But anyway, that's the DJI Mini 3 drone. And then I think that is about everything. I hope I've not missed all. My tent pegs here, by the way. So these are Eastern 9-inch, really long. And then I've got 4 Eastern 6-inch, which I use for the corners. So I use the 6-inch ones round here, they're blue. I use the 9-inch for these, for the big guy lines. And then I've just got some little ultralight, I think they're called Carbon Core or something by MSR. Let's have a look at these. There you go. Super light them, man. And then them I just use for pegging the doors out and stuff. And there's a little bit of a extra. I've always got a couple of spares just in case. Spare guy line just in case, and some repair fabric for the tent. You never know, do you? You never know. Right, so if you want, I'll show you me putting all this inside my backpacks. I don't think I've ever done one of these, and I'll show you all the way through what I do. So because these packs aren't waterproof, I have lined it with 2 pack liners. You can get these, they're really cheap. Even if your bag states that it's waterproof, I recommend you getting a pack liner. And then I just put that all the way down into the bottom of the bag. And then the first thing I do is just shove all my warm gear in there. And then the down jacket, just all my down gear in first, push it all right down to the bottom, including all my spare clothes, boxers, all my socks, as well as the pillow as well, that can go in with all that lot. And then because I said I used 2 of these, I then roll the first one up, scrunch it all down. So all my down gear and all my warm gear is protected by 2 of those pack liners. So that's the stuff that I want to keep dry no matter what. So I crush all that down as much as I can. And then I can start lining everything else inside this. So next I'll go for my thermarest. And with these packs, although it does have a frame, because it's not solid all the way down, you do have to be a little bit mindful about how you pack. Like you wouldn't want something digging straight into your back. So say this thermarest, nice and soft, nice and smooth. Push that right up to the back. So I've got all my down gear, then the thermarest, and then we'll go electricals, because they're quite heavy. So I want them in the middle. You don't want stuff too heavy right at the top. These will pack quite nice. Put them nice and flat on top. This is bulky, but hopefully over the first few days I'll be chipping away at this sort of stuff. In fact, one of these super noodles I'll keep out, and I'll show you why in a minute. So I'll close them up, put them in, cook kit, which I'll be able to squeeze down into one of the corners. So that is about up to there on the bag now. About at top at straps, and then the rest of it will sort of go around the pack. You'll see what I mean. So this, my Medkit, my hygiene kit, will literally slide down the front of the pack. Slide that right down there. Same with all flipper floppers. My drone I like to keep in the front, so I've got it for quick access. So I'll slide that down as well. And then I'll also put my tent pegs in there once we've took the tent down. So in the hip belt pockets, I use one for my shades, and then the other one I use for all my batteries, just so I've got them ready to go, rapid. The reason why I left this one out is because I've got space in one of my outside pockets. So I'm going to pop that in there. GoPro, because it's my second camera, I'm just going to slide it in the front. Electrolytes I can just slide in the front as well. No qualms. And then all we've got really is water. Put that in that side pocket. I've got my juice. I'll bang that down there as well. Catadin B3 water filter. I'm going to put that in one of these front pockets on the strap. And then that is my water bottle in the other one. The stretchy pocket at the bottom of the Atom packs, I'm going to dedicate that for my waterproofs. So they're always on the outside of the pack when I need it. But hopefully I'm just going to be able to forget about them. And then all I've got to do is take that tent down. So I'll be back in a sec. There we are. That's the tent all packed down into its little bag. And then this will just go at the very top of the bag. Squash that in there. I'm sure I had this packed a lot neater yesterday, but it is what it is. That'll squash down, roll it up, and then click that together. My trekking poles will then just go in the side, and then my tent pegs, hopefully there's enough room for them to just slide without ripping the shit out of my new bag. Oh, also I forgot to mention this, I've got my little trowel in with my tent peg bag, just an ultralight one. I can either wear this bum bag, or what I realised, you can just wrap it round the top of the pack. And to be fair, it actually sits quite nicely there. I am not overly fussed about the weight, because I can tell just by lifting that, that's going to be more than manageable. We'll see anyway. So that is my coast to coast gear load out, and this is before the trip. So if there's anything that you can think of that I might have forgotten, put it in the comments, although it will be too late. But yeah, I'm really excited. It says online it takes about 12 to 16 days. I'm hoping to do it a little bit less than that. I need to do it less than that because I've only got 11 days off work. So my aim is for around 10 days. Somewhere around that mark, but it should be good fun. It's just short of 200 mile, I think. I think it's 192 mile, something like that. Some signs say 192, some signs say otherwise. But anyway, it's going to be sick. If you want some early access, exclusive footage whilst I'm on the trail, then you can join the Patreon, because I will have uploaded, by the time you see this video, some clips along the route so you can keep track of how I've actually done. That'll be on the old Patreon though. Big shout out to the Patreons. I'll put a link in description for quite a lot of this gear, so you can check it out if you're interested. If you want to check out the merch, you can go to goodblokeoutdoors.com. Got t-shirts on there, hoodies, caps, woolly hats, all that sort of shit. So smash that like button, drop a comment, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done already. Weekly videos every Monday at 7 PM. I've been Liam, you've been watching Good Bloke Outdoors, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, in a bit. Let's get it, man. Wainwright's coast to coast. God, I hope I'm capable of doing this shit. I'm sure I am. Come on. Hello, it's me again. I've just forgot something. So my trainers that I'll be wearing, as always, if you know the channel, you probably know by now, I wear Ultra Lone Peak 7s, these are. So these are what I wore for the West Island Way, and these are the ones that I'll be wearing. I just thought I'd add that because some people might be asking, what footwear are you wearing? And then I'll be wearing a Senchi hoodie, as well as, not this underneath today, as well as my Rab sort of sun hoodie. So yeah, that's the plan. And then I'll be wearing my Nike trail shorts. Anyway, catch you later, in a bit.